Again. Today I've just finished the eyebrows. Eyebrows all done. Now I want to emphasize the eyes because people ask me questions about how I do my eyeshadows. So I'm going to take time today just to show you specifically eyeshadows. Eyebrows all done. Before you do any makeup, make sure that it's clean and it's moisturized. And after you've done that, make sure that you put a makeup base or priming base. And the base that I love using, I've done it previously before this video, I'm using the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. Guys, this is awesome for oily skin. Okay, eyebrows have been done. So now we're going to do the eyeshadows. Okay, first thing you want to do before applying any eyeshadows, you want to make sure you use a good good eyeshadow primer or base. And the one I use a lot is Quite Natural Paint Pot by MAC. The color is quite natural. And sometimes if I'm going with the lighter color, I'll use Painterly Paint Pot by MAC. I also like using a primer by Sephora. I use that sometimes. That's pretty good. I love it. I also use an eyeshadow primer by NARS. So you can use a variety of primers, but today I am going to use my MAC Paint Pot in Quite Natural. And also one other shadow primer eyeshadow primer. I also use the Paint by MAC. And this paint color is called Untitled. And it's very good as well. And it can create, you don't even need to use a shadow because it really does well with your eyeshadows. But today, I'm going to use my Quite Natural by MAC Paint Pot. And I'm going to take my fingers to place that all over the lids. You can use a brush. And if you were going to use a brush, you would use this MAC 217 brush. Is awesome for doing that. Well, let's just use the brush today. And I'm going to show you how, if you wanted to use a brush, if you didn't want to get this stuff on your hands, how you would distribute it with a brush. So I use my fingers, but I'm going to go back for teaching purposes and show you how I do mine with the brush. So you're going to dip this. I use a spatula because I do makeup for people, and you don't want to dip back and forth. You don't want to get bacteria in anything. And that's a good practice for you to use as well. You can use the back of your hands. But I'm using my spatula, and I take my 217 brush, and I dip like the end of it this much, and I just kind of spread it along the eyes like butter. Just spread it like you're taking some toast and putting it on bread. Butter on top of toast. You just spread it across. So that's how you would do that if you were using a brush. Okay. Once you have primed the eyes with your primer of choice, then you go with your shadows. I'm going to do kind of natural color today. Today I'm going to use the color called Mythology by MAC. So I'm going to take, I love using this brush. It's a crease brush, but it's so good for packing shadows. And I also use another brush by MAC for packing my shadows on my eyes too. And it's my MAC 239 brush. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to do this eye with the dome. I'm going to show you how I use that to pack. I'm going to use it on this eye. So you just kind of lightly pack it on. Okay. Now I'm going to use my MAC 239 brush. So you can use either one, and they do function in the same way. So you're going to pack that lightly onto the lid. So for all intent and purposes, this is the MAC 239 brush. I love using that for packing shadows. And I also use this domed crease brush. It's for creasing, using the shadows in the crease. But I like using it to pack on the eyes. I find it does a great job. So you're going to pack that on. Once you've packed on your color on your lids, you want to go ahead and use a transition color. And the transition color is a color that is close to your natural skin color. And it kind of bridges everything from the lid onto the whole eyes. And today, I love using Embark by MAC. But I love this Lorac Pro palette as well. Guys, you can find this at Kohl's. It's awesome. And it has a lot of neutral colors. And you want to always make sure that you have neutral colors on hands, like browns and burgundies, reds, those kinds of colors. So I am going to use Sable as my transition color today. And to apply the transition color, I am going to use my MAC 217 brush. So what you're going to do is dip the end of it and put enough of the product on there. And you're going to start from the corner going to the inner eyes and kind of hold the brush with a lighter hand. Not so close because you're going to get a harsh line. So you're going to start here and work your way from the outer to the inner using windshield wiper motions. And my eyes crease a lot, so I have to use a separate little brush. I'm sorry, separate makeup. A little small mirror. And I just kind of look down into it. And that helps me to see how much blending I've done and how much more blending I need to do. So anybody with kind of like a hooded eye like this, where you really, when you look in the mirror, you can't really see how much blending, take a mirror and kind of hold it, not exactly flat, but just down where the eyes look like it's in one dimension. And go back and forth. Use windshield wiper motion to make sure that you're blending everything. Blending is the key, guys. Make sure that you're constantly and totally blending. Blend, blend, blend until you can't blend anymore. Blending is the key. Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other eye. From one part to the next. You're going to go from the outer to the inner. And you're going to constantly blend. Sometimes I'll use a dark color in the crease too. It just depends on the look that I'm doing. And if I was to do that, I would use my transition color. And then I would go in there. Maybe if I wanted to use a black, I would go in and blend that in. But we're going to do more of a natural color today. But I always usually, not all the time, but a lot of times I like using black in the corners. Because it makes my eyes kind of pop a little. But you always make sure that you're constantly blending. Constantly. You're going to use windshield wiper motions. From the outer to the inner corner. Constantly blending. Okay, and then I look in the mirror to make sure everything is blended. And it is, but I think I need to blend a little bit more. You can't ever blend too much. You want to make sure those colors are blended totally. Kind of hold the brush towards the end and kind of let your hands do guiding. Let the brush do its work. You don't want to apply too much pressure. If you apply too much pressure, then you get too much color and it's hard to blend out. Okay, that's blended. A little bit more. I can't stress blending enough. Always make sure you're constantly blending. Okay, we've blended that. Now, I want to go ahead and I'm going to do a little darker color in the inner part of the crease, on the kind of on the outer portion of the eyes. You want to make sure you blend that as well. So I like to take my hand, you go like kind of like in a V shape, okay? Like this, there, right there, kind of like in a V. Everything should always be blended. I keep stressing that. Okay, that's blended. So the next thing that I do is do a good eyeliner. You can do this in a number of ways. You can use a pencil or you can use a cream liner. Okay, the pencil that I like using right now is by Buxom. It's called Call Me. Or you can use a good cream liner as well. And I like using e.l.f. And today we're going to do a cream liner so I can show you guys how I do that. But the pencil is pretty good too. But we're going to do, and I find pencils smear sometimes. So sometimes I like just using a cream liner. And the one that I'm going to use today is by e.l.f. in black. Yes, e.l.f. And this is very good. So and the brush I'm going to use to apply this with is the Face Atelier in 10. But I have one by MAC as well. And it's just a flat eyeliner brush. And it makes this foolproof. So anybody can pretty much get a good application with it. I love using this brush. But MAC has the same brush as well. And it's a flat brush. And you can use this for eyeliner application, drawing cat eyes. It gives you more precision. Okay, so I take some of this and I start at the middle part of my eyes and kind of going back and forth in those motions. You can take the ends and extend it out and sort of give you like a cat eye. Same thing here. And you're going to make sure you get the inner portion. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing for the other eye. You're going to start in the middle and you're going to do back and forth, kind of like you're drawing a line. Start in the middle and kind of take the line, extend it out. And then you want to make sure that you've done the same thing with the inner part of the eyes. But start in the middle and work your way out and then come back in the middle. Okay, since everything is lined, I'm kind of extending it out for like a slight cat eye motion. Everything is lined, so now I want to go in and line the bottom part of the brows. I'm sorry, the bottom part of the eyelid. And I'm just going to lightly do that, and I'm going to go in what they call a waterline. So you're going to go very close. I'm not going to do the waterline today. We're just going to do the outer part. You're going to go very close. And I'm using my pencil by Buxom. And the color is called Call Me. And this is it by Buxom. And you can buy that at Sephora. That's where I purchased mine. Same thing on this eye. And a lot of times I use false lashes, but we're not going to do false lashes today. I'm just going to do regular mascara. So the eyes are done. Now the last thing we want to do is to finish it up with some good mascara. And the mascara, I use several different types of mascaras, but today, and I've been loving this, it's by Too Faced, and it's called Better Than Sex, and the color is black, and it is amazing. So you want to start like this and just kind of brush it on to the eyes. Same thing with this eye. Everything you do to one eye, you want to make sure you do it to the other eye. That's the top portion of the eyes. And we want to make sure we've coated the bottom portion with mascara as well. Same thing here. Open up wide. Just make sure that you push it like this. And you want to make sure that you've coated all of the lashes. This is how I do my eye.